I'm Becca and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do a revival of my embossing boards. Years and years ago when I first started crafting, one of the first things I purchased was this. And it was by a, what's it called? I forgot the name. Keepsake Cardcraft, that's it. And they patented some embossing boards and they made absolutely loads of these. And I've got quite a collection of them now, but I've not got all of them. And they were just sitting in my drawer and I thought, you know, I really need to start using these again because I used to enjoy doing them because you can make some beautiful cards. And this is the Book of Tricks one. And it just makes your cards look like a book. That's a simple thing to it. But you can go as simple as you want or go as fancy as you want and use the embellishments of it as well. So I did a couple before I filmed. This is the one that I'll be showing you. I've got to be careful with it because it's still a little wet. But these are the ones I did first. As you can see, this one's got a heck of a lot more going on it than what the one I've done here. This is a really basic one. Then the next step up would probably be this. So you've just got your stamped images and then you've put some embellishments on and that sort of thing. And then this is the sort of the higher level, you know, putting loads more detail on. And you can still put even more detail on than I've got on here. So again, it's just the limit is your imagination. So let's get started and I'll show you how to make a Book of Tricks. So the first board I'm going to show you is the Book of Tricks board. If you've been crafting for as long as I have, you'll know what these are. They first came out, I don't know eventually, I think this was the first one that they brought out, but 2004. That's when they brought the first one out, and this is when they patented their channels and did all these boards. Now they've done absolutely loads of these. I don't have every single one of them, even though I'm trying to get every single one of them, but I've got quite a stash of them and I think we need to have a embossing board revival. So I'm going to work through them and just do a demo on each one. Whether if you've got them or not, there are different options of what you can do. If you've not got the board, you still can make this type of card. There's other options, but I'll talk you through that one. So I'm going to go through this one and then I'll tell you about the rest. So these are just some double-sided embossing boards. You're probably thinking, how am I going to use those if you've not seen them before? Now, what they've done is they've patented this, putting a channel in, so it guides you to whatever layer you're wanting to emboss. A lot of other embossing boards don't have this, and then you're sort of like you're going around on the board trying to figure out where you need to put your embossing tool. So this side is a book, obviously you can see what this is, and then you can make it to any theme card that you want it to be. So you know, you're just limited by your imagination really. And then on the opposite side you've got some accent pieces that you can emboss, cut out and decorate things with. Got a bookmark here and you've got a tag and just some other shapes that you can use. So I might use those ones, or I might pull some shapes off some other boards that I've got. But yeah, this is just a Book of Tricks and that's pretty much all I can tell you about that so far. But I'm going to crack on with getting through it. I've decided to do 4 layers on it, but I'm only going to be stamping on the front one. Now, as you'll have seen in the intro, I've done some where you can stamp on each and every page, but the video would be 2 hours long if I did it that way. The demo one that I did took me well over a day to complete it. So I'm going with these colours because the 2 of the cards I've made are in like traditional gold and red, so I'm going with a nice purple and a pink on that now. So this is a double-sided card. Now if you have a card that is coated on one side, you want to have that facing down because that's the side that you're wanting to see. Sometimes you can get a bit of resistance with the embossing tool, so you can use a bit of candle or I'm trying to think what the other thing is. Oh, a little bit of soap or something like that. Or you used to be able to get this spray stuff and you'd put it all over it and it'd just make it drag a little bit better, the ball tool. It's a 6mm ball tool, so if you do manage to buy one of these boards and you've not got it, it's just a 6mm one that you can use. You can use a bit smaller as well. So I'm going to be doing 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to just be stamping on that size, and then obviously you've got a mini one here. So this is going to be my back page. and I've just buttered my card up to the bottom box. It's got these like little ridges here. Now there's different ways you can do it. You can go down the 3 spine lines and you're just pressing against it. Rather than pressing it too hard, just do a few lighter runs with the ball tool. Now, so if you can see here, just about, you've got these little ridges where your pages will begin, but then you've also got these little nudges at the side. Now I can lift that up and I know it's going to go back into the place where I want it to be. So the outside page is this one. You could colour code it so it reminded you as well. The second one in is from this side, and then the third one is this bottom right hand corner, and then the smallest one is this top right hand corner here. Well, I'll put that back into where it was. But the other thing you can do is you just go down these here, and when you see the first ridge, that's the largest one, and you just rub your ball tool in it, and the ball tool will go along the I'm trying to think what it's called, the channel, and then you'll get a bit of resistance, but then it goes up that corner, and then it won't go through on the other side unless there's a ditch. I think that's the other word, or channel, that's it, there. But I know that one just goes up to there. Now we're not going to be using that bit, so it doesn't really matter if you've gone up there. But, and then we'll just come down, and then I felt it again, and then I can always go back to the middle of the spine. Just make sure that you're in the same place. A bit of a pointed corner, that one. Oh no, that one's gone through there. I've gone on the next one up, but it's going to get covered over anyway. Right, if you do that, I'll show you what to do. Just flip it over. Just make sure you're on the right bit, and then just use your ball tool. Just rub over it, and it puts the card back to how it was. That's the only thing. If you come out of your track on your board, you will only make an indentation if there's a channel on the on the board. So like say if you're pressing there on your board, you're not going to get a mark on your actual board, so card, sorry. Right, so I'm going to go this way. It can be a bit tricky when you're first starting out with these, because obviously you don't know you know where they're going to go, and you think you're going to mess up, but like I've just showed you, I went into another channel by accident and it's easy taking out. So I've gone all the way around, and then on the other side you get your embossed line, and all I'm going to do is cut around each of the edges. Now it's up to you whether if you want to keep the beveled edges on. I like it because it gives it an added feature to it, so I just go up and around right up to that score line. I'll go all the way around just like that, and I will go around all the edges. So my layers, like I said, I'm going to be doing 4. So I'm going to have this deep purple first, and then I've got a nice fuchsia, and that's going to be my second layer. So this is how I decide how I'm going to have them done. And then the third layer, I've got this nice star pinky purple background, so that's going to go there. And then the piece that I'm actually going to stamp on and decorate is this white one. So each time I do one of these layers, I just need to go down an extra notch on the board. So it's going to be really boring for you to watch me do that, so I'm going to go and do that, and I'll come back once I've got all my pages scored and cut. So I've got all 4 of my layers embossed and cut out. Now if you wanted to decorate each of the layers, so like say if you wanted to stamp onto, you know, like I'm going to be working on this white piece here, if you wanted to do that for every page, what you'd do is for your back one you would emboss and cut out a piece of white for this size, and then so you don't see it from underneath, so you still get that nice graduated colour. Say if you wanted to stick it flat to the card instead of leaving it free like a page, then you would stick that to your back piece and then you would have your next layer separate. So again, then you would have another one of these which would be your coloured one, so then you'd cut out one in white of the next row down, stick that to your page, and then you'd just carry on going like that until you've done as many pages as you want. I'll show you. I think it was this one. That's what I did with this card, and I did 3 layers of it. This is the one that took me over a day to finish because there was that much colouring in and things to do. So it's up to you, depending on who you're giving it to and how much time you want to spend on it, or whether if you're just making it as a decoration to come out at Christmas, you can do that. You know, and if anybody's going to judge you, then they don't need to be in your life if they're going to judge you for your Christmas decorations. So because I'm just doing this one, I'm going to stick these down flat to here. Now because this is a coated card, I can't use my normal Collall glue because I've tried the other day and it doesn't like the colouring, the coating on this card. So I'm just going to stick to normal double-sided tape. If you've got PVA, you can just use that. I prefer not to use PVA simply because it's water-based and it can make your paper and card bow, you know, like how you can get that sort of wet look from it if it doesn't completely dry. A lot of people use PVA, I just prefer to use the silicone one, but because I'm just doing this, I'm just using the double-sided tape. So again, you don't have to stick this completely flat, you can have them all loose and not decorated. I'm just sticking it down just simply for ease really, but if you're just wanting a quick card, then just do the, you know, the one layer like what I'm doing, or you could just do this back layer and have this one, just have 2 like I've done on the other card. So it's totally up to you what you want to do with it. Now because I've still not got my nails done yet because they're still terrible, I'm just using this. I'm just using my needle tool just to lift the finger lift tape off. Wondering why I've not got my nails done like I usually do, it's because I've had acrylic on my hands for quite a long time and gels and things, and my natural nail was screaming at me saying, no, give me a break. So I've had to. I'm not happy about it. I feel very strange not having nails on, but needs must and all that. The better thing with a liquid glue, you've got that time to reposition you know, where you're wanting it. So, but because we've got these runners, sorry, that's my cat at the door trying to get in, or one of my cats should I say. Right, now if you're leaving them loose, then we'd be curving the pages, but I'll show you that in just a second. So because we're going on ridges down, you can see where the notches were, just about. Is that better? No, there. So you get the notch, so you know where your page needs to go. But if it's not just about right and you're using liquid glue, you get that extra time to get it positioned right. But I've just got that down, so now I've got a nice stiff back. And then this is my just pattern paper one, so this ain't really a card. But again, the more layers that you put onto it, the more sturdy your card's going to be. And definitely if you use Collall, then it really will be rigid, because that just sets like rock. And trying to get that off is really hard to do. Well, once it's dried, that is. I mean, if you use the Collall and you get it somewhere where you don't want it, you can rub it away and it just turns into like a little gooey ball. But because this is a coated paper, it was lifting the colour off. So in hindsight now, when I'm using this type of card, I don't want to put it on anymore. There we go. So we've got our 3 layers and they're all just as one. So this is probably the most easiest way to do it, is just sticking them flat, and then it just looks like it's got extra pages. So now it just comes to decorating the part that I want to decorate. So the collection I'm using is the Crafts Companion, I think it was Sarah's Signature Watercolour, Winter Wonderland Watercolour selection that I am using. So let's see what we've got. So I've got plenty of dies to be cutting things out, and these are just my little characters. So when you're deciding what you want to do, it's whether if you want part of this to be where you write your message, so you just want to decorate one half, you can put some card on the back and write on this side. But if you do anything 3D on this side, so like flowers or bells and things like that, then it's going to be a bit more difficult to write on that. So that's just what you need to decide. So I think we'll have, no, I think. So what I like to do is I just like to lay out where I'm thinking of putting my stamps. Obviously I'm not going to be stamping on like this on my stamping platform, but show me. So yeah, I'm just showing you my process when I'm doing this, so you can see that I don't do much for planning really. I have an idea for what I want to do, but not actually what I'm doing. So put that little tree there, and then I've got a little fox, and he can go there. So I think, yeah, they've got some little baubles and things for him to be hanging. Right, got my stamping platform. Oh, it's getting to each other. So when you're using one of these stamping platforms, you just want to make sure you've got it butted up if there's a resting edge. And I'm going to put a magnet there. You need to put them in areas where you know that you're not wanting to stamp. So, my little snowman there. My little tree. I'll put that right up to the middle bit because it's got this line going on, because I'm going to be putting some ribbon or something down the centre, so it'll sort of hide the edge of that stamp. Put this little fox on. And then, depending on what you're colouring your images with, if you are colouring in, or whether if you're using something a pre-printed image that's going to go on you, then you don't need to worry about this. But if you're using alcohol markers, then you need to use an alcohol proof ink to do your image with. If you're using watercolours, then you need to use a waterproof ink. This is the Crafter's Companion Finesse Noir Black. That's what I stamp most of my images out with. There's lots of lovely other colours, but I like the black outline that I get with it, because you're colouring everything in, so if you had a coloured outline you won't know where the colour starts and finished, and I'd get confused. I'm easily confused when it comes to stuff like that. So I just missed a little bit. That's the beauty of these stamping platforms. If you've missed a little bit, you can just pop it back over and press in the area where it's not come off, or add a bit more ink. Okay. So all I need to do now is colour this in. So I'm going to go off camera and colour this in, because that'll probably bore you to death. And I'll come back and we'll carry on with the card. So I've got it all coloured in. I've got a nice little snowman and a fox decorating a tree, and just on the snowman's nose, the carrot, and the little baubles, I've just put some, what was it called? I'll tell you. I had that in my head going, glossy highlights. This is Crafter's Companions version of it, but you can also get this one, but I've hardly any of this last. This is Glossy Accents by Ranger, so just some glossy accents, that sort of thing, if you want to make your things look glossy. And I've also coloured in some little baubles that I'm going to have the little fox hanging and putting on, just to give it a bit of a lift to the piece. Now I've already put some double-sided tape on, but I just wanted to give these a bit more of a curve than the other ones have, because this one's going to be sort of more raised up. This is the bit that they're going to see at the forefront. So I'm just using my rolling pin and just rubbing it around just a bit like that. I don't want it to be too curved, but obviously you can make it as curved as you want. I just wanted it to have some sort of lift. So, and then as you can see, when that sits, it's just got that little bit of a lift. So, but if you want to make it, you can just like push up where the score lines are, and then that'll make it stand up a little bit more. So I'll take my double-sided tape off. Pop it where I want it. So these little baubles, I'm just going to put some little foam squares on the back. So I'll let the fox holding this one. So I'll just put that in his hand. And you could stamp out more of these, just depending on how much you want to decorate it, if you're doing the same sort of design as me. But you can put whatever you want on it. This is just what I'm wanting to do, because on the run up to Christmas, that's when I'm making all my special cards and things, so I thought I might as well film them while I'm doing them. So I'll put that one up there. So it just gives it that little added lift. Now the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some ribbon around the centre part. But as you can see, this has got some lines in it. This is from where it's been stored on the piece of card that it came in. But to get rid of those, I'm just taking a little pair of portable straighteners, and I'm just going to gently go across and iron them out. It's basically just the same as you're ironing them, but it just gets rid of those little kinks in your ribbon. Okay, so they've all gone. So I'll just unplug that because I don't want it overheating. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be sticking this down, and it's going to tuck around onto the back. So I'll just get some more double-sided tape. You could also use red liner tape if that's what you've got. That's even more stronger than just this regular double-sided. Take it off if I can. Really, I'm missing my nails. Now when you're trying to stick it to ribbon, it can be a little bit more fiddly to get off, because it's not as like it's not got the same sort of texture as the paper where it sticks to it naturally. So and then I just want it to go straight down the middle. Up, and I'll fold these round. Now you're probably wondering why I'm going to do this, because you might be using the back to put your message on. So what I've decided to do is, because I put the ribbon on round there, I've already scored round another one of the biggest layers onto white card, and that's what I'm going to stamp my verses on or do any of my writing, but I'm not going to stick that on until I know who I'm going to be giving it to. So all I do is I'll just stick that onto the back of there, and it'll make it even more sturdy than what it already is. And then the last thing I'm going to do on this, you can put lots more embellishments on it, I just wanted to do a quick one for you just to show you, cause I've got the other two that I've done that I can show you that have got far more detail on, but this is just some Duckcraft glitter glue. It's just the light sort of crystal-y one, I say. And the only reason I'm doing this is because on the white card it seems to be more noticeable if you've got not a consistent cut going all round. So when they were called the Glitter Girls, the ladies who invented these boards, they used a lot of peel-offs, and they did look really nice, but to me I always struggle getting them to stay on for very long. The stickiness to them doesn't seem as well as I would like it to be. So whenever I've used them I've had to put glue on anyway, but I quite like these little glitter glues. It just adds some sparkle to it that those peel-offs would have done, but they're generally just in gold or silver or a colour if you've gone over them with a marker. But this is just another way of doing it, and it's a tad quicker, because trying to get some peel-offs to curve in the right way for you can just take a bit longer, and if you're wanting to do quick cards then you're wanting something, you know, that's not going to take you half an hour just to put on the peel-offs, because they bug me if I've not got them on you know, just how I want them, and then I wouldn't want to send the card out. If a card has to be, to me, completely finished for me to be able to send it out, and I'm terrible with it. Since I started crafting years ago, I used to do really just quick cards because that's what I saw on the TV, and whereas now I find it really hard doing just plain simple cards. So I like to put the extra thought into it. Yeah, it does take me longer, but I get the enjoyment from it. That's the whole thing with crafting. It's you can lock yourself away in your own little magical world just for a little bit, and it'll take your mind off of all the woes of the world, as I say. So that's that, and I'll just have to let that dry. So now that will be able to stand up once it's dry, obviously. But they also brought out these stands templates, and this is basically just a stand for the books to go on. They also came with a smaller version of it. I've just got these, and I've just drawn around it on a piece of card, and I put it out, and all you've got to do is just fold it, and then one folder, burnish it, just make sure you've got rid of all of your pencil lines and things, and then your card will stand there because there's two little notches, so it will stand up like this. It's hard to show it you when the camera's out, but as you can see it stands back like that and it stands up perfectly. Now you might not have these boards, which is absolutely fine, you can still do this sort of card. Crafter's Companion do a set, the storybook die set, and it's basically the same thing. There's not as many different size layers as what there is on the scoreboard, and they're not as big. So as you can see, I think the biggest one, the biggest size is smaller than the big one on with the embossing board. So depending on what sort of look you want to go for, and then this has already got a stand in with it, and it's also got some fancy edge pieces and a bookmark and a tag, so you've got the option of doing that. But then if you've not got them and you're just starting out and you want to have a go at doing it, all you need to do is you can measure out your card to the sizes you want. So like, measure this one, nice bigger size. So this one's just over 24 centimetres, and then you would just reduce down your width of each piece, and then this, it's 14.5 centimetres high. So you can go down, how much difference does it? Right, so in between each layer there's about a centimetre. So if you wanted to draw out some rectangles and then put your score lines in the middle, you could do that. And then you could also use a plate or something, or your double-sided tape, something like that, just to draw around, just to get you that curve So there's different ways that you can do it. You don't have to just do it with the embossing board. You can do it with dies, and you can do it without it. So I don't want anybody thinking that because they've not got the embossing board or the dies that they can't do this sort of card. You don't have to make the pages curved like what these are. You can leave them just straight like a regular book. This just gives that element of it looking more like a book with the pages being curved. So I'll put that over in, and I'm going to show you the other two that I've done. Now, yes, this was the first one I did. So as you can see, I've made a box for it. They also made a box called the Illusion Board, and that's for their box making and things like that. So if anybody's interested in watching me make one of these boxes, then just comment below and I'll be happy to do it. And I've done the embossing with this was from one of their border bars, so that's another thing I can show you. And this is from a it was a die set that I got from Crafter's Companion, but you can make these without the dies. There's ways and techniques of things that you can do. Now you're probably wondering what I've got peel-offs in here. These ones I stuck down with, I put a line of I think it was Kalal that I used, because I was trying to stick these down and they were just coming off, they were bending up, but they are really old peel-offs. So if you have got some peel-offs and you wanted to do that and you're a bit unsure whether if they're going to stick, just put a line of glue just underneath, and then once it's dried they'll be stuck down. So yeah, this is the first one that I did since I've started getting them out again. So I'm knocking everything over on my desk. And this one took me a long time to do because there's a lot of stamping and colouring and things like that. So I've got another one of those boards, and I've used glitter card as the backgrounds, and then this one I've cut out the white sheets individual, so like on each one's got something stamped and coloured and written in, same on both sides. So that one, it might even just turn out to be something that I have on my mantelpiece, whether if I give that away or not I'm not sure yet, because I'm quite proud of that one. But I went round the edges with the glitter glue, but in odd places it's not stuck as well as I wanted it to, because originally when I did it I used a Zig 2-way glue pen and it wasn't sticking as well as I wanted it to, so I had to go back round again and just use Kalal and then just put some more glitter on it just to cover it over. But I think it's still got a nice look to it anyway. And then I've just got the backdrop on. I've put a handmade sticker on the back, but I think I'm going to put one like that I've done for the one I've just showed you onto the back for me to write on. So that's that one, and for me jabbering on. And then this one. Now this is really simple, just 2 layers. So just on the main back one, I haven't put the writing on the back yet, but like I said, I'll do that when I know where I'm sending it to. I've just stamped and coloured in just the same way as I've done on the other ones, and I've put some glossy accents on and some pearls. I've also put some faux snow on the snow that's standing, or on the fluffy bits on her clothes, and then I've also cut out some poinsettias and some leaves, and I've just curved them and just give them a little bit dimension, and I've just stuck them to it. So when that one stands up, let's borrow this one just for a second. Go in. So I'm just trying to show you the dimensions of it, but it's a bit hard to do it and let me able to see what I'm doing in the camera. So see, that's just got that little bit of a gap, but from the front it looks like it's got a lot more dimension to it, just because it's got these 3D flowers on it. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me doing a bit of a revival for the keepsake embossing boards. Get the other one in. Another look. And if you've got any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. If you've enjoyed the video, if you could give me a thumbs up, that'd be appreciated. And if you've not subscribed, if you consider subscribing, that'd be appreciated too. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.